Welcome to Wildlife Inspired. I'm your host, Scott Keys. This is a beautiful photo, right? It's interesting, it's engaging, it's powerful. And most people would hit the like button if they saw that on social media without a second thought. And I probably would have too. But what if I told you that this was captured by placing ladders right up against where this owl was perched? Or what if I told you I had cut out branches just so I could get a better view? What if I told you I lured that owl out into the open by using some mice that I had purchased at the store? Or what if I told you that that was a captive owl that I had passed off as being a wild animal? Would that change your opinion of this image? Would you still hit the like button? Let's talk about it right after this. So today we're going to talk about something simple and powerful. Think before you like, especially when it comes to wildlife photography and social media. Anytime we deal with social media, we're dealing with algorithms that push content. Every like is a form of endorsement, whether we realize it or not. Social media has changed photography, especially wildlife photography. Likes don't just show appreciation. They drive visibility. Visibility rewards behavior, and repeated rewards shape the way we treat our subjects. Algorithms don't understand how we do things. They don't understand our methods, our integrity, or our ethics. They only understand engagement. So when certain types of images get rewarded again and again, that becomes the standard that people chase, regardless of how it impacts wildlife. And here's the problem. A photo doesn't tell you how it was taken. You can't see what happened before the shutter got clicked. You only see the result of the shutter being clicked. You can't tell how close a photographer got. You can't see the situation that the animal was in. You can't see the behind the scenes unless they tell you. A beautiful image can hide bad intentions and bad interactions. And that's why captioning matters just as much as the photo itself. So let's talk about some things that most people would agree is not okay. Feeding wild animals, especially to get them used to humans so they get closer. Encroaching on nests. Putting pressure on species that rely on camouflage or hiding. Gathering in large groups and putting constant pressure on the same animals so they can't rest or feed. Now, I like to share stories, so I'm going to share a story with you that happened recently. And I'm also going to share with you some examples of things that happen pretty regularly and most people don't realize it. Recently on social media, there was some behind the scenes images shared, people who were taking the photos. The results were really close looks at owls. Owls that generally hide to protect themselves. When these owls are pressured and scared, they often just freeze up and become very still. And because of that, people had taken ladders to this location. They were actually using ladders to get closer to the owl while it was resting. They cut out branches so they could get a better look at it. They became so close they were taking what looked to be iPhone images. And had we not seen those behind the scene images, most people would have just carried on and said, wow, what a really neat image. And they would have hit that like button. The like button reinforcing the behavior, driving the content, and reinforcing others to repeat it. I can give you a couple other examples of things that happen pretty regularly that people may not realize. And I'm going to cover all of this in another video called The Ugly Side of Wildlife Photography. But just know that what you see on the screen isn't always indicative of how it happens in nature. Often animals are fed or baited or even fed on carcasses with paid members sitting in blinds waiting for those animals to come in. Is it truly wildlife photography? What about captive animals? Animals that are more like pets than wildlife, but they're taken out into the woods and they're photographed and they're posed, and we hit that like button because it looks so neat. And then sometimes we have species that may be wild in theory, but they're captured in very controlled settings. Maybe flashes involved or perches involved and lots of setups that are elaborate. And so while the animals are technically free to move and come and go as they please, it's more like a photo booth with a lot of photographers standing around the area capturing those photos. And when they're posted on social media, they give you a much different vibe. They kind of feel like they're taken out in the wild or maybe out in the jungle, but they're really taken off of a patio at some hotel in the middle of South America. And so while we see that final product and it looks really appealing, there's a couple things we might need to look for. We may want to look for signs that an animal is actually in distress. So large eyes, bulged wings, aggressive stances. Those can all be typical behaviors that might indicate stress. Animals that are approaching the camera, interacting with humans, species that don't normally interact with humans, that can be a sign. Nesting animals. Look for signs of young animals that might be in nesting areas and animals that are in poses that are just too good to be true. Then slow down and read the captions. A skilled photographer, somebody who's proud of their work, will normally tell you the story, especially if it's a rare encounter. These don't happen all the time. How many 1 in a million shots can the same person get before you start to wonder, how are they doing it? So look for people that mention distance, they talk about patience, look at their other work. Is there a consistent pattern of behavior that seems evident? And if you're not sure, just ask. Down in the comments, hey, how did you get that picture? Look for a response. If they didn't answer you, or more importantly, if they blocked you, be on alert. That person may be doing a lot of things that they're not talking about for a reason. So there's a lot of people I know for a fact that hit that like button when they probably wouldn't if they knew more about the image. It's not that they're doing anything wrong. They're just really not doing anything right. We need to have a little bit more responsibility what happens because we feed the algorithms with images and they should be pleasing and honest. So seek out people who do it the right way, people that you support. And when you see their image, like it, support it, and share it. Now, this doesn't mean that every photographer out there needs to tell you everything about every image. They don't have to give away their locations or their secrets or their techniques. So when you feel good about a photographer and the way they take their images, as well as the images that they produce, reward them. Hit the like button, drive the content, leave comments, and share those images with others. For me, wildlife photography has been amazing. And for a lot of people like me, it has inspired us. It's given us a lens on the world that we didn't have before. And it's allowed us to get a deeper connection to the natural world and to wildlife in general. Wildlife photography is amazing and we should support it. But we should know what we're supporting. So my advice, slow down. Just stop scrolling so fast. Look at what you're consuming and be educated. If somebody is capturing images in a way that you don't support it. Don't hit the like button. Unfollow. Block if you need to. Support the people doing it the right way and support them by liking their images, commenting on them, and sharing them with others. We need to start rewarding behavior, not just images. So the next time you see that amazing wildlife image, just pause, challenge the image, read the caption, and consider the context. And ask yourself, is this something I really want to support? And speaking of support, if this video made you think just a little bit differently, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and hit that like button so it will be shared with somebody else who loves wildlife, just like you and I. Thanks for watching today's video. And as always, I hope we can continue to find inspiration in wildlife together.